God, it was
When I was a kid.
crazy.
Anyway, go on. So this was not your topic.
Yeah, the topic that I was trying to get to was there was an article published by, what was the name of the guy again?
Now he's surfing the internet.
Talking about
Henry Akins or Atkins or I don't know. Fucking know.
So in this article, he was trying to argue that, yes, the back is a good position for self-defense. A very good position.
No, that's not what he's arguing.
Okay.
He was arguing that the back is not good for self-defense.
No, he's saying it's good. It's still good. It's just not...
Oh, he's saying, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's just not...
It's silly.
As good as we've been taught.
No, it's silliness, man. It's fucking silliness. Like, the problem is this.
So can we say his argument real quick before you...
Destroy it?
Yeah, go for it.
So that was his first statement. And he's saying, one, if you choose to give up... If someone turns... If you have the back and someone turns, if you follow them so that your back is on the bottom and you're still on their back and they're face up, you're much better off letting them turn underneath you and keep mount instead of holding the back. That's what he teaches his students. And for a number of reasons, he said he had a couple of different bullet points. And, of course, I don't have the article up in front of me. But basically the gist was he teaches his students for self-defense that you have a higher percentage of being safer and doing more damage if you take them out and bail on the back.
Man, look, it's like this.
That's just crazy, though.
This is like
what, beating the person in the face to death? Like,
Yeah. So-
you can't make them unconscious and then just leave the scenario from them.
how
out.
many? I mean, so what she's speaking to before I even get off on the other stuff is that
Mercy.
how many
Yeah.
times? No. How many
No,
times
not
have you
even
seen?
that.
How many times have you seen a fight where the guy gets in the mount, throws
They always turn.
a barrage. A barrage of punches.
Yeah.
A barrage of punches, right?
Yeah.
And then the ref stops the fight because the dude's not defending himself, and then the other guy stands up like it ain't shit.
Yeah.
Disappointed, shakes his mouthpiece. God damn it, son of a bitch! Like, but not fucked up. How
Not
many
to mention
times
your
have you
hands
seen
are probably
somebody-
broken by then.
Very often. It's very common.
It's all the time, man. Like, people that get fights ended from the mount, don't end the fights from
the
the
ref
mount.
does, yeah.
If somebody just balls their hands up, it is very hard to beat them into oblivion with your hands from the mount.
It's not like you're going to Americana them to
What
death.
happens is the dude turns over and gives up the choke, or what this guy's calling the back mount, where it's back face down.
Right. Which he
Right?
does say is...
Of course he says it's good because it's
Yeah.
awesome, right? But then it's like, if the guy sticks the arm out, does he teach his guys armbar from mount?
Yeah.
Because I tell you what the fuck, man, armbar from mount
Don't
is
do that.
fucking way risky.
Yeah, don't do
armbar
that
from
shit.
mount is leaving the position, leaving the ladder entirely, and jumping on a finish and hoping it works.
Right. It's
Most
climbing a
people
window,
don't. Most
too.
people don't practice recovering from the armbar to positions like we teach here. Most people don't practice that, so they legitimately are diving on this thing in the it's like throwing a fucking shot from half court, like they're hoping it works. You know what I mean? Which is a dumbass strategy. So I am assuming, following his logic, he would not teach Juji Gatame. Like, he would not teach the regular arm bar, like classic jiu-jitsu position, arms across the head and the chest, breaking the arm with your hips. Like, I'm assuming he doesn't teach that because that's non-positional and also stupid. If you're going to go by the logic that he's
Right.
using there, right?
Yeah.
But he does, because that's jiu-jitsu and that's what you do, right?
You have to
But
teach
it's like it's just nonsense, right? And then there's this idea of understanding the positions in jiu-jitsu have their value because of their relative safety and their tactical advantage. But every situation changes tactics. For example, I agree, like, face down, flattened out on the back, like you're on the back, flatten the fuck out, and the dude's smashed underneath you, belly down into the floor.
Yeah.
Best position of fighting, for
leg-
sure.
his
If a
feet
dude
are
rolls
swimming.
if a dude rolls over from the mount, I'm absolutely not going to follow him. You know what I mean? Like, it's nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody starts to escape the back, I'm going to fucking step over and mount for sure. Like, mount's fucking awesome.
So what you're saying is you're not
But
always
it's awesome because it
choosing.
leads to the back. But this is the problem. If there's five guys and I take somebody's back and they're all fucking having a little boot party on my head, guaranteed I'm going to pull the guy on top of me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm going to pull him on top of me.
You need a
It's
shield.
very hard. It's very hard for him to fuck me up. I'm going to choke
Without
that
hitting
guy.
their
I'm going
own
to
guy.
choke that guy to death, and I'm going to crawl out from under him like a fucking spider in the Brazilian rainforest, grab somebody, suck them back under the body, start breaking everything they have. I mean, it's just like tactics are determined by the circumstances. So this guy is making tactical decisions not based on circumstance, just saying there's a truth to this idea of position and the way it is. But the problem is In a one-on-one fight, man, follow the guy to the back. It's no problem. You don't have to worry about it. It's great. One-on-one fight, I can stay in the mount if I choose to and not give up the bottom position. But it's like in a group fight, I'm definitely going to pull the guy. I'm definitely going to go hooks. This is the other thing. Like, so if you look at the online project, right? Like if you look at that thing, I broke down into this idea of parameters of control.
Yeah.
The positions are not cool because they're cool. They're cool because they give you access to these parameters of control, right? So one parameter of control is gravity. If gravity is on your side, that is good. If gravity is working against you, that is bad. Back exposure. Back exposure is good. Standing behind a person, regardless of weaponry,
Spine in line.
being behind someone is always less dangerous than being in front of them. This is a rule of knife fighting, of gunplay, of fist fights, of boxing. Like getting out from in front of somebody's line of fire is a basic tenet of fighting.
Yeah.
Back exposure is a good parameter of control, right?
Yeah.
So if you take those two things, like there's a couple others, right? So there's torso control, the ability to control the person's torso so you can stay with them, right?
Yeah.
All pummeling is an attempt to get torso control. Guard is establishing torso control
Body
with your
locks,
legs. Hooks in is an establishment of torso control using your legs to control the hips, right? So there's torso control, back exposure, gravity, and freedom of arms. If I hold somebody inside control in a cradle, it's not as valuable for fighting as if I hold them inside control, not in a cradle,
your
because
arms
I
are-
can hold you. I have gravity, I have torso control, but I don't have freedom of my arms because I'm using them to hold you, so I can't do damage with them, right?
Yeah.
So if you take these parameters of control, you can look at each position in jiu-jitsu and see mathematically why, like give each one a value of 1 or whatever. You can start to see mathematically why those positions add up to the level of dominance that they have. But everything's going to change based on circumstances and tactics.
Yeah.
So if I'm on top, based on the person that I'm fighting right now, this person starts to, like, I have the back hooks in, flattened out.
Back mount.
So I have
Face,
what he's calling back mount, right? So I have back exposure, freedom of arms, torso control, gravity.
Yeah.
I got all of them. That's 100%. That's everything you could want in a fight. The guy starts to turn over. I've got to make a tactical decision at that point.
Right.
Do I want what at that moment on the given circumstances? Which parameter do I want to lose? Because I'm losing one of them.
Gravity.
I am either going to lose back exposure and keep gravity, freedom of arms, torso control,
And stay in
or
line. Yeah.
I'm going to keep torso control, back exposure, and I'm going to lose
Gravity. Yeah.
But you can't make a by rote decision about which one of those is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, if you're thinking that the main way in jiu-jitsu that you want to end fights, like the way that you're going to bet your life on is with a choke, being behind someone, back exposure takes a much higher precedent because it's very difficult to choke somebody from the front because you have to overcome their defenses to do it.
Yeah.
From behind, it's very hard to
I think that's
stop a choke.
the best argument there is the only thing that's reliable on a human being
It's a choke.
is a choke.
Yes.
Everybody goes to sleep. Everybody has
Attacking,
two carotid arteries.
Yes, everybody has 2 carotid arteries. Everybody goes to sleep. Choke's the only thing you can rely on. And if that's said, attacking somebody when they're looking at you versus when they're not looking at you is 2 totally different things. And he's talking about from the back you can't strike and stuff. But it's like you break your hands. I mean, what the fuck, man? You're talking about elbowing them in the fucking head, gashing their face open with elbows, man. You can elbow them in the back.
If you
of the
could
neck,
elbow,
dude.
if you could hold back
And
control.
he's talking like, look at this is where I'm going to sound like a fucking Krav Maga guy, right?
Yeah.
Broken clocks are right twice a day. Those douchebags have it right occasionally, because the fact is, fucking Kron Gracie had a hard time finishing fucking whoever the fuck. From the back. Well, that's because you can't put your fucking fingers in his eyes and lift his chin.
Yeah.
If I've got your back and you can't go anywhere, and I can do literally anything, I can fish hook, I can get your
Elbow.
fucking nose, I can peel your eyelid off, I can fucking pull your hair. It's so much easier to get under a chin.
just
in a fist
a
fight.
nose, a nostril. If you
Dude,
get in
it's
a nostril,
so much easier to get under a fucking chin in a fist fight with no gloves, sweaty and bloody, and I can do anything I want.
the back's where you want to be.
It's
even if you're on
so
the
much
bottom.
better. But
Yeah.
like once you start putting in rules, no fish hooking, no eye gouging, no biting, no fucking hair pulling, no whatever, and then there's gloves, and then there's this, and then there's that. It makes it that much more limited. Now I will say that based on the set of rules, they're correct in some circumstances.
Right, but he said self-defense.
But the circumstances dictate the tactics. You're an idiot if you don't admit that circumstances dictate tactics. Like that's just fucking how fights play out.
And,
right?
and to his credit, he does reference. Of course, I realize that the gloves in MMA make it much more difficult when
Of
you're in the
course.
back. And
But what I'm saying is, like, if you've ever tried to get under somebody's fucking neck in here, even no MMA and no gloves, you try to get under somebody's neck,
Yeah.
it's a huge pain in the ass, dude.
Being
You start,
nice. Yeah.
dude. I'm not even getting in their eyeballs. I'm just, I'm like fucking just literally cupping their nose. I'm not even fish hooking.
Yeah.
And that picks people's fucking chin up like crazy.
they don't want to suffocate. Yeah.
Nobody, I mean, but it's like you start. I mean, like once you're in a real legit fight, the idea and the theories of jiu-jitsu make more sense when you look at them from a realistic, practically applied combative setting. They make much more sense. When you start adding limitations, now they start. The limitations that you add change some of the tactical decisions that you make. But the first thing you do is you understand, judge for yourself. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. Understand the aspects, the parameters of control. Understand the things that make
Yep.
you dominant or not dominant in a fight, and then look for yourself. Every time somebody teaches you a position, run it through that checklist of what the parameters of control are and how many of them does it match. Give it a numerical value, and then compare it scientifically. Don't just be like, "Yeah, it's good because somebody said it's good."
How much also do you think it has to do with people really focusing on escaping the back and people being real shitty at like holding the bottom back position?
Well, look, man, like you got to think you can't talk out both sides of your mouth, right? Because
Yeah.
like when I teach jiu-jitsu, if I say if somebody has your back face down, you want to try to flip over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why do you want to try to flip over? Because I want to try to get on top of them.
Yeah. You want
Because if I get on top,
gravity on your
I
side.
want gravity
Yeah.
on my side, and I'm also removing their freedom of arms.
Right.
Because if I flip over on top of
They
them,
have to hold on to you
They
now.
have to start. They can't like flattened out on the back like back mount. You can sit up with your arms free like you're in the fucking Titanic movie and
Yeah.
just beat the shit out of
See,
somebody.
that's what I use, and everybody laughs at me when I teach that class.
I hear you, right?
I said,
Titanic.
let's do the Titanic. They did a remake a few years ago, and it just completely revived my teaching.
Nice, very cool.
I'm losing it again, though.
But it's like that idea, right? Like
It was the
like,
blockbuster.
Obviously, if I flip over, and you got two choices. If I can force my way face up and you're back mounted on me, if I force my way face up, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to switch to the mount, which is good for me because I have a higher survival rate from the mount, and survival, not stopping an MMA fight.
Correct.
Because they're correct. The problem is the ladder's changed now. In a self defense, no like lock two dudes in a fucking cage and see who comes out alive. The back is the king of positions, right? No question. Face up, face down doesn't matter.
It's always better than the mount. Yeah.
But in modern MMA, no 12-6 elbows, no striking the back of the head,
No gouging,
no grabbing the gloves,
fish
no
hooking.
hair pulling, no fish hooking, no eye gouging.
Yeah.
Man, all of a sudden it's very, very, very difficult to secure the choke,
Mm-hmm.
which means you're more likely to win a fight from the mount in MMA. But it's not
Those are
because
just
of the
two completely different topics.
it's
now.
not because of the damage you're doing. It's because you're affecting the referee is changing the parameters that you can use on the back, and the referee is stopping the fight from you punching this dude in the forearm repeatedly.
And also think about, if you're talking, we've talked about this before, multiple opponents. When you're in the mount, yes, you have the choice. You might be able to disengage a little bit more easily than if you're immediately your back. But if you're on someone's back and they're face up, you can still disengage pretty easily.
Well, no,
but
look.
you can't see what the fuck's going on.
I agree. I agree that if I'm mounted on top of somebody, I can disengage faster. But again, the choice between the back and the mount for me is a tactical one based on circumstances. If I'm dealing with a single individual one-on-one, I'm absolutely going to stay on their back.
Yeah.
Absolutely going to stay on their back because it's like I'm closer to a choke and I can do more damage.
And all their weapons are pointed
That's
away
it,
from you.
period. Right? Now, if for some reason, because I'm tired, I'm hurt, I'm scared, there's a group of people, whatever, if there's a reason for me to change tactics and decide that for me right now, it's a 300-pound dude, gravity is way more important than back exposure to me at this moment because of the dude's weight,
Yeah.
man, I'm going to stay on top of the mount.
Yeah.
But it's because I made a tactical decision based on which parameter of control was more important in that set
So
of
your argument is
circumstances.
all things being equal, in most circumstances,
He's
better.
using a flawed data set because he's going based on
He's pulling it
when's
out,
the last
yeah.
time that you saw finishes from the back versus finishes from the mount.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a referee stopping. Like you can win an MMA fight now by repeatedly punching a dude in the forearms.
Yeah, it's true.
But you mount the guy and you start throwing.
He's not fighting back,
If you
yeah.
throw 200 punches and you hit him smooth in the forearm with every single
He's
punch,
failure to respond,
they
yeah.
will say he is not responding
Yeah.
and they will stop the fight. because he's not intelligently defending himself, even though he has no damage at all.
However, you do that shit with no gloves, you hit an elbow,
But it's
your
not gonna
hand's
work,
broken,
man.
you're
Like,
fucked.
but even so, you punch, and then what are you going to do? He's fuck you, bro.
Exactly.
You punch, fuck you, bro.
And you break
Now
your
what?
hand
Now
in the
what?
meantime.
You going to get up?
Yeah.
You going to let him go? Now you get into that. If you stop, I'll let you up, bro. If you stop, fuck you, man. Do you know what
gotta-
I mean? Like
you gotta choke 'em.
a flurry of punches from the mount is only valuable in a street fight because it makes them fucking turn over
Yeah.
or stick out their arm, which means you can break their arm, and now I can choke you easier because you only have one arm.
I literally I hold mount now just so I can get to the gift wrap to go to the back, and I really want to work on my mount attacks, but I never really get a chance because it feels shitty to me to take an armbar from mount. It just feels on the whole just wrong. Like
Weird. I mean,
I feel like I'm bailing on a good
morally?
position.
Oh yeah. No, I hear
Not
you.
morally.
I was like, what the
I'm
fuck
just
are you
saying,
talking
like,
about?
I'm like, though, like, I'll be fed
Yeah.
arm bars, and I will push their arm back
Well,
down
yeah.
to a gift wrap because
Bro,
and I'm like, I should be working on my attacks from mount. However,
99.9% of the time, I'm gift wrapping. I ain't fucking
Yeah.
armbar from the mount. Fuck you. I'm in the mount, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. Like,
so
I'm sorry.
there's probably a reason why my finishes are very low from the mount because I don't.
But to put that article to rest, like I think
Yeah.
the thing is, like the guy's using as evidence, he's using sport.
Yeah. Sport and
things.
MMA, yeah.
And it's like the rule sets absolutely change the data. Absolutely change the data.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got to think about. Don't just teach people. You shouldn't teach people mount and back, and one's better than the other. You should teach people the parameters of control so they can understand tactically from moment to moment what they're trying to achieve and why.
You know what's changing? Probably even this article.